young, determined woman, Helen Keller, was often quoted as saying, "I always wanted to be somebody." She diligently practiced until she achieved her goal. This woman did her best for her own time and will be remembered for all times. May we pray? Heavenly Father, help us to always remember to do our best. We know that commencement signifies a new beginning in our lives. Before we begin this new journey, we would like to take a few moments to thank you for the journey we have now completed. Thank you for allowing us to reach this milestone. Thank you, God, for giving us supportive parents and guardians, for giving us a dedicated faculty and administration. Most importantly, thank you for the knowledge that has enriched our lives. Amen.
For the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Rhodes, faculty, distinguished guests, and fellow students. On behalf of the class of 1990, I would like to welcome you to the 17th commencement exercises of Riverside High School. It is the culmination of many long hours of work and effort, and we could not have arrived at this point without the help of many. For this reason, thanks are in order. I would like to thank our parents for their love, encouragement, and patience during our high school careers. If it were not for much patience on the part of some of our parents, many of us could have been banished to military school by now. I would also like to thank our faculty for their teachings and leadership, both in the classroom and out. I would personally like to thank the class of 1990 for their friendship. Thinking back over the last 4 years, several wonderful images come to mind. A cow pasture, green doors, orange and green lockers, and countless friends. Each image represents a symbol to me. The cow pasture symbolizes that no matter where you are, if you have the right people, success will follow. The green doors symbolize the growth one experiences at Riverside. The orange and green lockers symbolize that the color, shape, or size of the locker one is given does not limit the person. What is placed in the person or locker does. The image of friends is the most important symbol, for without friends, life can be meaningless. I feel that each of these symbols is meaningful to the class of 1990. We are proud of our class and our achievements. Academically, the class of 1990 has had 7 seniors recognized by the National Merit Scholarship Program. Of these seniors, 2 have been named National Merit semifinalists, and 1 has been named a finalist. Our class has 51 members in the Beta Club and 22 in National Honor Society. Our class has led the academic bowl team to the best finish in school history by placing 11th in the national tournament last week in Chicago. In addition, 15 of our classmates have received individual scholarships for their achievements. Athletically, our class has led Riverside to a level of excellence which few schools can claim. Our class has carried Warrior teams to numerous Peach Blossom Championships, Upper State Championships, and State Championships. Our Upper State Championships have come in basketball, cross country, soccer, tennis, and track. Our State Championships have been attained in basketball, tennis, 2 in track, and 3 in cross country and soccer. Our girls soccer team has been undefeated in 4 straight years, and our football team ended with the best regular season record in school history. Our class's leadership has surfaced over other areas of Riverside program as well. Class members have been outstanding in speech, journalism, student government, chorus, art, and even the stock market. The speech team will send 6 competitors to San Francisco next week. 3 of these 6 are seniors. In journalism, the Socomo has won the Palmetto Award all 4 years, the All-Southern, and the Medalist Award twice. In student government, our class has helped host 2 of the most successful district rallies, made our presence known at state student government functions, and helped bring the presidency of the South Carolina Association of Student Councils back to Riverside. Our choir has been heard from Carnegie Hall to the streets of Disney World. In art, there are 31 seniors in the National Art Honor Society. This year's economics class, led by seniors, won the regional competition in the stock market contest. And most of all, the class of 1990 is the last class to know what adopt a brick means. In closing, I feel our class has met and surpassed the legacy we were left, and we have set higher standards for the classes to come. Why you, my classmates, chose me as your president, I do not know, but I have led the class of 1990 with honor in the best way I knew how. I'd like to take this time to thank the other class officers who have exhibited a tremendous amount of understanding and dedication. I would also like to thank our class sponsors for always supporting us. Finally, the class of 1990, thank you for the memories and friendships. And whatever you do, may success and happiness follow each one of you.
Now is the time. fly into the sun. Like an eagle I will race above the stars. I will fly to places yet unseen, go beyond my wildest dream. Know that you are watching over me. Like an eagle I will race above the clouds. Like an eagle I will fly. Like an eagle I will fly. I'm gonna fly the highest mountain. I'm gonna fly above the clouds. I'm gonna fly the highest mountain. I'm gonna fly above the clouds like an eagle. I will fly. I am but a small voice, I have but a small dream. The fragrance of a flower in the unpolluted air. I am but a small voice, I have but a small dream. To smile upon the sun, be free to dance and sing, be free to sing my song everywhere. Come, young citizens of the world, we are one, we are one. Come, young citizens of the world, we are one, we are one. We have one hope, we have one dream, and with one voice we sing. Peace, give us peace, prosperity, and love for all mankind. Peace, give us peace, prosperity, and love for all mankind. I am but a small voice, I have but a small dream. To smile upon the sun, be free to dance and sing, be free to sing my song to everyone. Come, young citizens of the world, we are one, we are one.
Mr. Gordon, Mr. Rhodes, faculty, honored guests, and fellow students of the class of '90. More than 25 years ago, a relatively unknown preacher from Montgomery, Alabama, announced that he had a dream. He told the world, and the world listened. The preacher, of course, was Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., one of the greatest men of our times. Among his many positive attributes was Dr. King's vision. Vision to see that there was something wrong in the world and that something must change. Vision is a hard concept to define. Most of us who are graduating have the common vision of what we will be doing at approximately 7 o'clock tonight. But the vision I am talking about goes beyond that. Jonathan Swift, the great British writer, said that vision is the act of seeing things invisible. In other words, the act of seeing that which does not currently exist and which most would say is impossible. The way Dr. King saw a world of racial equality and harmony. Ralph Waldo Emerson went so far as to say that where there is no vision, a people perish. We who are inheriting this society ought to think about that. In a world where getting and spending is the predominant mode of tunnel vision, sooner or later we will have to start broadening our scope. We must start thinking of others, or we will become hollow men, and the American society will become a true wasteland. This is not to say that our vision of the future has to be filled with negative images. True vision in the American tradition has always been a vision of brotherhood, equality, and greatness. So as we, the class of 1990, make our plans for the future, I challenge you to dream of a better world, to dream of meaningful existence, to dream of goals which will enrich the American heritage for all. Together, we can make our dreams come true and build a better tomorrow. Peace.
Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Rhodes, faculty, honored guests, and fellow students of the class of 1990. All of the graduates here today are looking forward to the world which awaits them. We have spent long hours preparing for the challenges which we will face. We have our dreams, our wishes, our desires. Robert H. Goddard, father of the American space program, once said, "The dream of yesterday is the hope of today and the reality of tomorrow." In order for our dreams of the present to become the reality of tomorrow, we must act with courage no matter what our endeavor. We must have the stamina to make our own dreams become realities. If you have a dream, it is up to you to fulfill it. Often, there may be those who will stand in your way. Do not be intimidated. Do not be slowed in your pursuit. Andrew Jackson once said, "One man with courage makes a majority." With courage and perseverance, you will be able to handle the choices, to take the chances, to meet the challenges that the future will present. You can be that one man or woman to stand up and make a majority. Courage does not necessarily mean being daring and wild. Courage can mean taking an active role and being a leader in your school, workplace, and community. Extend yourselves and do something of which you can be proud, something that others will respect. Make an impact on your future. Do not wait and let the world come to you. Go forth and embrace it. Charles Kettering, inventor of numerous automobile improvements, says, "My interest is in the future because I'm going to spend the rest of my life there." It is hard to disagree with this logic. It is up to us to make our own future. Be your own majority. Have the courage to be a leader. Reach out and make an impact. You can pursue your dreams. You can achieve your dreams. And you can live your dreams. Today is the day each one of us needs to realize that we, as individuals and as a group, are our own future. As we walk across this stage, we will not only be receiving our diplomas, but also we will receive our tickets admitting us to the future, where we can make an impact, where we can make a difference. Always have the courage to continue, to believe in yourself, to make today's dreams tomorrow's reality. We can be proud as Riverside graduates. We have a background strong enough to give us the strength that we will need for the future. We are a capable and intelligent young group. With the courage to follow our dreams, the future will be ours to enjoy.
Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Rhodes, faculty, honored guests, and fellow graduates. After 18 years, 7 months, and 11 days on this planet, I've come to realize a few things about myself and about the world around me. Although the extent of an 18-year education may perhaps lack the maturity and depth of that possessed by an intellectually superior being, such as Mr. Farmer, one does not need to be specialized in rocket technology to understand the qualifications for a meaningful, happy life. Adam has already presented the first necessity, a dream. I would like to share with you the second key to success, persistence. We are all familiar with Thomas Jefferson's prudent reminder that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. But did you know that he painfully tested over 1,000 different filaments for the electric light before discovering the correct one? I call that persistence. Perseverance, the power to hold on in spite of everything, the power to endure. This is a winner's quality. Calvin Coolidge wrote during his tenure as President of the United States, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and dedication alone are omnipotent." Isn't this so very true? We ourselves are in control of our dreams, our successes, our failures, and our futures. The power to succeed or to accept failure is ours alone. And as ironic as it may seem, it's when things seem worse that we must not quit. What is so remarkable and praiseworthy about our class of 1990 is that we have already proven our ability to persist in several areas. Darren Burrell, the #1 senior runner on our cross-country team, overcame 3 injuries within 2 years' time to place 3rd in the state meet this year. Dan Klask, our co-salutatorian, catapulted himself into the #2 position with his relentless pursuit of academic excellence. And finally, Erin Zikos, who's been dead last on every single class roster of her entire life. And yes, she's last once again this morning because of that rather unfortunate last name, has proven herself to be the nicest, most patient girl I know. The list of successes based on persistence goes on, and no doubt there will be many more. This morning, we graduate from Riverside High School. For most of us, the next 3 months will be filled with fantastic beach parties and summer fun. But no matter how hard we try to forget, high school memories will forever hold a special place in our hearts. As I look into the future, admittedly, I am a little frightened. Yet I feel some comfort in knowing that I'm going to get out of life what I put into it. We have developed the ability to face defeat and yet to persevere, to push on in the face of great difficulty. With the background we have been given while in high school and armed with persistence, I know that success and happiness can be ours. Let's be true to ourselves. The fulfillment of our dreams lies within us and us alone. When we understand and accept this, then nothing or no one can deny our greatness.
Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Rhodes, faculty, honored guests, and fellow students of the class of 1990. There are 2 generally accepted names for today's ceremony: graduation and commencement. The former certainly implies an ending to our high school career. Each of us here today has boarded the train of knowledge, learning, and maturity as a ninth grader. Each of us journeyed from being a child to being an adult during his high school career. And now we have reached the end of our journey. We have reached the train station. Commencement denotes the next leg of our journey. Each person must now choose his own route, make his own decisions. We must choose our next route wisely. Many of us shall depart for continued education, still others will embark immediately on a career, and still others will enter our nation's military service. Despite our varied future destinations, we shall all be united in a single task, the task of bettering the condition of all humanity. Each of us must live his life for the improvement of mankind, for the world. Johann von Schiller once wrote, "He who has done his best for his own time has lived for all times." The most crucial words in this quotation are often skipped over and seldom pondered. Schiller does not say to take from our time, he says to live for our time. As responsible citizens, we cannot take more than we give from our society. For too many generations, our ancestors have taken the natural resources from our earth, dwindled its resources, polluting its air, sea, and land. Neither can we subsist on the efforts of others. Each person who does not do his own part in life must be carried by someone else. Therefore, humanity loses two of its valuable assets. We cannot merely live in our time either. By necessity, he who does not actively contribute to mankind can only passively use his link to humanity. Nathaniel Howe says, "The way to be nothing is to do nothing." If we have no initiative, exercise no creativity, nor develop our talents, we are simply nothing. Unfortunately, for every player on the field of life, there are scores on the sidelines and in the stands. Do not be satisfied with sitting on the sidelines. Get out there in the field. Each of us can be first-string players for our world. James Lowell says, "Virtue treads paths that end not in the grave." If we are virtuous, if we live for our time, then we have lived for all time, and we shall not merely fade into the thousands of previous generations that have passed from this earth. You may be thinking, all this philosophy sounds great for a graduation speech, but I still haven't heard any concrete suggestions. Au contraire, I have a few feeble suggestions for living. Live for the means, not for the ends. Enjoy your job and your family and your community, not for what they can do for you, but for what they already do for you. Choose a career that will make a difference in someone else's life, as well as your own. Join a civic organization, for the most valuable asset that we possess is our youth, our time, and our energy. Give some of it to someone else. Give it to someone in need, for the favor may well be returned someday. Be good to our planet, for it's the only one we have. In this world of political turmoil on every continent, be a steadying force. Decide for yourself what you support and support it with all your heart and might. This means exercising your right to vote, protesting about that which needs to be changed, bolstering that which is good, and praising that which is worthy. As E.V. Cook wrote, "Perhaps the reward of the spirit who tries is not the goal, but the exercise." Live for your neighbors, live for your community, live for your world, live for the journey. But most importantly, live for our time, thereby living for all time.
It is my pleasure to present to you at this time these candidates for high school diplomas who, upon receipt of these diplomas, shall be declared graduates of Riverside High School by the authority of the South Carolina Department of Education. Kelly Brian Kennett, Mark William White, Daniel Class, Adam Michael Swartz, Clyde Jason Dove, Melissa Latrice Woods, Scott Christopher Alderman, Eric Thomas Anderson, John Christopher Anderson, Kevin John Anderson, William Thomas Anders III, Dave Nelson Argood, Johnny Eugene Armstrong, Maria Christina Atkins, Janice Danielle Austin, Demetrius Avery, Stephen DeWitt Ayers, Kelly Ann Azarita, James Allen Babb, Karen Annette Bailey, Darren Harrison Bain, Tamari Catherine Bassler, Thomas Bradley Benjamin, Grace Lamartise Bennett, Nancy Relisha Bennett, Amy Britton Bernhardt, Jean Marie Bertock, Denise Tiny Blois, Lippy Brett Bogani, Susan Caroline Bean, Christopher Aaron Beard, Jonathan Philip Bolick, Ryan Scott Boone, Richard Sterling Bowes, Lance Gerald Bradley, Melanie May Brady, Van Matthew Brandenburg, Amy Robin Brannon, Monica Mary Breen, Jennifer Robbie Bridges, Lottie Yvonne Briggs, Anthony Quinn Bright, Rodney Christopher Bruce, Sandra Lane Burns, Darren Patrick Burl, Gary Wayne Byrne, Clinton David Caldwell IV, Jeffrey Kerr Campbell, Glenn Lindsay Capel, Eric Rico Carr, Andrew Brian Carver, Jennifer Ann Shabators, Crystal Elsie Clark, John David Cloudpierre, Randall Clement, Craig Marcus Klinkscales, Michael Eugene Coggin, William Russell Coker, Vicky Deanne Collins, Candice K. Cook, Stacia Elaine Couch, Elodie Michelle Cartier, Brandon Evan Coverson, Katie Diane Cunningham, Jamie Lee Dagnenhart, Kristen Joy Dean, Michelle Renee DeLuca, Kimberly Brooke Dietrich, Amy Nicole Dillashaw, Jennifer Elizabeth Doyle, Sherry Teresa Dewin, Robert Ingram Dotson, Eric Tyler Edwards, Karen Elizabeth Edwards, James David Eggleston, Keith Andrew Einsman, Michael Philip English, Nicholas Andrew Follett, Heather Louise Ford, Heather Lynn Forster, Mary Alice Foster, Jonathan Patrick Franzen, Brian Daniel French, Jennifer Diane Fry, Kevin Oliver Gandy, Robert Chadwick Gay, Stephanie Louise Gentry, Sherry Marie Glandon, Andrea Lee Glenn, Matthew James Gorman, Mary Beth Gossick, Mark Allen Graboskic, Michael Lewis Gray, Kelly Melissa Green, David Anderson Green, Kelly Elizabeth Green, Kirk Marshall Groom, Amber Louise Guion, Andrea Jane Haig, Christopher Warren Hare, Stephanie Ann Hall, Jennifer Ann Holly, Jennifer Alicia Hopper, Clifton Lamont Hawthorne, Carolyn Ann Hediger, Angela Michelle Hemrick, Leslie Annette Hester, Nuan Babette Hines, Betsy Ann Holder, Donald Leland Holland Jr., Melissa Fernanda Horn, Cricket Jennifer Hughes, Heather Lynn Huey, Julie Ann Hunter, Mars Randolph Hunter, Ginger Annette Hyatt, Dirk Lee Eric, Dorothy Dollar Eric, Gerald Stephen Jackson Jr., Kimberly Don Johnson, Peter Morgan Johnson, Stephanie Don Johnson, Courtney Laura Jones, James Robert Jones, Jeffrey Kyle Jones, Keelan Karen Michelle Jones, Keelan Derek Jones, Stacy Delphine Jones, Yolanda Nicole Jones, Danielle Denise Jordan, Rebecca Lois Jordan, Gijo Koshi Joseph, Rega Rachel Joseph, Melissa Suzanne Julian, William Allen Kaler, George Kakarius, Paula K. Kelly, Shonda Renota Kennedy, Catherine Janelle Kennedy, Todd Justin Kilbo, Anna Megan Kincaid, Tisha Lee Kenzie, Ding Yu Rick Cole, William Arlen Cutts, Stephanie Lynn Lanford, Candice Ann Lappert, Victoria Susan Lee, Scott Henry Leonard, Michael Lane Leonardi, Melanie Catherine Lewis, Mary Edna Lender, Deborah Marie Lindsay, Stephanie Marie Laura, Keith Elliott Lunsford, Tricia Lynn Mack, Craig Allen Malloy, Antonio Martinez, Keith Joseph Massey, Robert Anthony Massey, Fritz McGowan, Henry Lee McGowan, Jennifer Lee McInerney, Amy Evelyn Meats, Micah Leland Mercer, Gregory Keith Merritt, Christopher Carey Miller, Robert Clinton Miller, Tanya Elsa Miller, Ryan Christopher Mitchell, Rebecca Joan Moore, Gretchen Lynn Mosher, Donna Elizabeth Murphy, Timothy Tyrone Murray, David Allen Nadeau, Elizabeth Dalton Nelson, Shani Elizabeth Norman, Lara Allison Norman, Kristen Marie O'Keefe, Jeffrey Douglas O'Neill, Thomas Dominic Parisi, Regina Annette Pearson, Amy Don Pelly, Patrick Shane Pent, Jason Ryan Peranowski, Curtis Lee Peterson, Angela Vernica Phelps, Melissa Marie Pittman, Stephen Glenn Porter, Elizabeth Brogdon Potter, Philip J. Potter III, Catherine Maxwell Presley, Kenneth Brian Rabenhorst, Joseph Michael Ramirez, Brian Allen Randall, Gerald Eugene Reardon, Mimi Nicole Recklin, Leslie Karen Reddick, Kimberly Gail Redish, Sean David Reeves, Kimberly Faye Revels, Debbie Michelle Ron, Michael Stephen Riggs, James Lawrence Roddy, Tara Ann Rogers, Christian James Rogers, Jenny Sonia Rogers, James Arthur Rowland, Christy Lavon Rookett, Jeffrey Allen Ross, Suzanne Faye Runberg, Melanie Marie Sarvis, Stephanie Ann Sawyer, Penelope Jean Smith, John Preston Scott Jr., David Griffith, Seif, Brian, Paul, Shelton, Nirma, Nagish, Shonoi, Joby, Michelle, Sampson, Stephanie, Teresa, Sloker, Chrissy, Lynn, Smith, Eugenia, Lynn, Smith, Gaines, Ron Smith, James, Andrew Smith, Jeffrey Lee Smith, Edward Cameron Southern, Nicole Marie Spihar, Joy Susanna Stampley, Kimberly and Stephen, Jennifer, Michelle Stoffel, Shannon and Stone, Angela, Michelle Suber, Anita, Joe Suber, Susan, Marie, Talarico, Jason, Elliot, Tate, Michael, Ernest, Tabernetti, Thomas, James, Taylor, Jr., Carl, Granville, Thomas, III, Bobby, Edward, Thompson, Bruce, Nathaniel, Thompson, Shannon, Clayton, Thompson, Latanya, Monique, Thompson, Portia, Dion, Thompson, Karen, Renee, Votes, James, Ellis, Ward, Julie, Rebecca, Ward, Catherine, Evelyn, Waters, Travis, Scott, Watson, Misty, Nicole, Weathers, Mary, Ellen, Westmoreland, David, Chadwick, Weston, Teresa, Michelle, Whitmore, David, Ray, Wilcox, Marnie, Lynn, Will, Charles, Robert, Williams, Dana, Noel, Williams, Tanya, Renee, Williams, Michelle, Lynette, Windsor, Kimberly, Renee, Wingo, Stephen, Richard, Watoski, Randall, Lee, Warford, John, Carlton, Wolwin, Kevin, Wilson, Womack, Pamela, Denise, Wood, Peter, Matthew, Woods, Brandon, Lee, Woodward, Jamie, Lee, Wooden, Miriam, Michelle, Washam, Stacy, Lane, Wright, Aaron, Juanina, Zekas.
Will the class of 90 please rise? Each member of this class has fulfilled the requirements for graduation as prescribed by the State Department of Education. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I now declare you graduates of Riverside High School. Congratulations.